Hey Siri, turn off bedroom.
Okay. By now, you guys should be hearing a little background music. Let me know if it's too loud. Data. These are not Raycons, unfortunately. Hold on 1 second. So tell Reggie to cut the check. Maybe if they were Raycons, they'd be working right now. Hold on. That's the only kind of music we can play on YouTube Live. They'll flag me if I play any of like the Monicas or the Brandys. All this copyright infringement. I'm just promoting right now, guys. I appreciate you guys being here on time. Let's give folks some more opportunities to come to the chat room and to get online. I appreciate everyone that's here already. Data, we are on Patreon. Why are you not a patron? That will be coming up later during one of our commercial breaks. Silence. Patreon is not Patron, Silent. It's something else. Guys, I'm just promoting it because like Silent said last night, we're a one-man team. So do me a favor, go to your social media and let everyone know. I'm not even checking. I've had the chat room popped out, so okay. Just linking everyone before we start because I don't want to repeat myself a little bit later on. Let me put my mask on since everyone's in the chat room. Is this mask on? Nope. If you're just tuning in for the very first time, I'm the Kempire. You're listening to the Kempire Radio Network. If you're not subscribed already, head on over to kempireradio.com and subscribe to our podcast network. Oh, Silent got jokes in the chat room. He knows what Patreon is. If you go to kempireradio.com, you can actually join our Patreon there. Our first tier is $1.99 a month. I probably should be wearing the Kempire Radio mask, but I don't have it yet. Can you guys hear me through the mask? YouTube was brilliant about being able to pop out the chat room because for those of you that have been part of the Kempire Radio when we had chat rooms, everything was pretty much on a site. So you really couldn't do a bunch of different things, even though we tried. I'm not keeping this mask on. I'm just doing it for humor because these are the times that we are in. Shout out to Data for being in the future. So of course he would be on time. Where's everyone from? Candace. I know where Data's from. I know where True Exclusive is from. Accra? Dion? Where are you guys from? Let us know in the chat room. I'm just promoting this right now. Want to make sure everyone knows. Oh, I see the data. Thank you. Soon enough, Silence. Soon enough. Florida. What part of Florida? Excuse me if I'm yelling, guys. I got a lot of sounds going on in the background. Number 2, what's the number 1? I thought New Zealand was the number 1 safest place in the world. Did you guys see that Mulan? You have to pay, first of all, you have to have Disney Plus, and then you have to pay $30 to see Mulan. What do you guys think about that? Oh, Jacksonville, North Florida. Some vodka country's number 1. Russia? Okay, I gotta take this mask off because it is hot. Whew, I have lighting and all kinds of things going on in here. Welcome to the Kempire live here on the Kempire Radio Network. Shout out to everyone that's already in our chat room. So we have quite a few different things that I want to talk about tonight, but I'm not going to jump into anything just yet. I want to make sure that we have everybody here. Oh yeah, so what I was saying in regards to Mulan, did you guys hear that Mulan, you have to have a Disney Plus membership, plus you have to pay $30 in order to watch the movie? What are your thoughts on that? Do you think that's fair pricing? Mind you, Disney Plus I think it's like $6.99 a month. I thought they were going to just give it to us, but if they're going to charge, I would have guessed maybe like in the $20 range, where most people have been doing for like these, movies at home. That's very expensive. I mean, especially I know that Disney's trying to make their money right now, but I think you've made a ton of money that they could have kept that pricing a little bit lower. But I'm guessing, it doesn't make sense to me why, because it's not like you get to keep the movie forever. You have the movie as long as you still have Disney Plus. So once you have no Disney Plus, don't you lose the movie? So it's not like you're buying the movie. I might be wrong. Wow, Disney Plus in New Zealand is $9.99 a month. Technically, I have Disney Plus for free now because they had that big promotion through Verizon. They still have a couple of promotions through different companies. But still, $29 to see a movie. I don't know why they went so high. This movie better be amazing. I agree. I think people would have paid for Beyonce, to be honest with you. They probably would have paid $29.99 to see Black is King. Since we're talking about Beyonce, happy birthday to Beyonce. Today is her 39th birthday, allegedly. Had to throw that in there. There's some news about Beyonce this week. Apparently, she was here in New York City in the Hamptons filming for 4 days. No one knows what she was filming. I'm guessing we will find out in the coming year, maybe. I don't think it's going to be something that we see immediately. A lot of people thought originally it was for the VMAs, but she was a no-show. I mean, what did you guys think of the VMAs? If you're not subscribed to our podcast, we talked more about the VMAs on today's episode. So head on over to kempireradio.com and you can listen to today's episode and hear all of my thoughts on the VMAs. Again, another year of the VMAs, not that exciting. But it probably would have been saved with maybe a Beyonce performance or maybe a appearance from Brandy and Monica to promote the Verzuz. That would have been incredible too. I don't know why no one thought of that. But, we always are thinking of things, and the powers that be, the old white men in these offices, don't involve us in these conversations. So Beyonce will be 39 today. Wow. I feel like we've known Beyonce for such a long time at this point. I think, when did she come out? She was like 18 when she came out. It's incredible what she's done with her career. But definitely in the last few years, you have to respect what Beyonce has done for raising the bar for artists. Black is King was incredible. It was something that we needed. A lot of people criticized her for it, but I think it was her vision, her way of giving back in her own way. I feel like it was a celebration of Blackness. And I love the fact that Beyonce in this time is just so unapologetically Black. And I think a lot of up and coming artists, a lot of people that are making money can be inspired by how much she embraces being Black. Because, one thing that a lot of people see is that once people reach a certain level of success or a level of money, that changes. Sometimes they don't really reach back and, really embrace their Blackness. And I have to say, one thing I do love about Beyonce is the fact that she does reach back and she's continuously celebrating Blackness. Shout out to the chat room. I can always count on the chat room to keep my mood and energy up because you guys make me laugh like crazy. There is a delay though, a few seconds delay. Silent, I found that you can actually create a longer delay if you really wanted to. Like if I guess some of these larger platforms probably would use that for censoring, curses and things like that. So you can do it like 30 to 60 seconds. You know what Data mentions in the chat room. And again, if you're watching this from somewhere else, or if you're not in the chat room and you're just watching it on your phone or something like that, join the conversation because we have a lot of fun in the chat room. Yeah, there were a lot of criticisms from people in Africa. I know Beyonce later made the Black is King available just in time for most places in Africa to see it. So I thought that was incredible. But one of the criticisms was that it was more of a celebration of a certain level of money, and people wanted to reflect a different side of Africa. But like I said, I feel like Beyonce's intention is what we should be looking at, as opposed to criticizing for how she wanted to create her art. But criticism allows us to think, her next project may allow her to take a different approach than she did this time around. But I know a lot of Black children, a lot of Black girls were inspired by this. And if Brandy and Monica's Verzuz means anything to anyone, it proves that there is money and power in Black women. Black people, but definitely Black women. We're gonna get into talking about Brandy and Monica's Verzuz. I have the list of the songs. I wanna talk about them one by one. I wanna hear what your favorites were. I wanna hear your thoughts. Join the conversation in our chat room. Again, don't forget to link everyone. Go to your Twitter, go to your Facebook, go to your Instagram. Link everyone to our chat room on Kempire Radio. Matter of fact, let me do the same. And while I'm doing that, if you have not listened to today's episode, I think you should. We had an interview with an artist that's been here before. And I was excited to interview him again. I love his new song. So I want to play that song for you guys. I want you guys to get familiar with him if you're not already. And I also want to show you the video. Hopefully they won't give us a strike for this. Because I technically have permission to play the song. Just give me a second. All right, let's do this. There's a lot of things going on behind the scenes, guys. So if there's delays and things like that, please excuse me. Let me share with you guys. Share sound. Before I do this, I want to make sure I can hear. Let's do this. Come on, connect for me. For those of you that are not subscribed to our podcast network, again, head on over to kempireradio.com and subscribe. If you're on Apple, please rate and review. Those really do mean a lot.
Last time we kicked it, you said you fully.
Hold on. Make sure we have sound. 1 second, guys. Let's try this again.
Last time we kicked it, you said you fully committed. The nigga you fucking with didn't know how to hit it. I read the vibes and I know when me you feel it. Celebrate you in every way. Treat your pussy like it's a birthday. I put in time, been writing songs from the beginning. 2006, Brooklyn, I gave you the business.
Sorry about that, guys. That might be YouTube muting us. Can you guys hear me though now? Data. Can you guys hear me though? Make sure that you can hear me. Okay, that might, as I said to Data earlier in the beginning of this episode, sometimes what will happen is YouTube will end up muting you, I think, because of copywritten songs. But technically, I should be able to play the song without an issue, technically. But that's fine. Let's jump into some hot topics. As I said before, you want to make sure that you're linking everyone to tonight's show. This is our very first live recording of 2020. This will be available in audio form on our podcast platform. Again, please make sure you join at kempireradio.com. The video will also, mistakes and all, will be available on our YouTube as well. One thing I did want to remind you guys, for those that are here in the United States, you want to make sure that you're voting. If you have not registered to vote, you have to do it now. The election is on November 3rd. So I want to make sure I'm reminding you guys to vote. Head on over to iwillvote.com. There you can register to vote. There you can check your status, your voter's registration status. You can also request an absentee ballot. And it's really important to make sure you request your absentee ballot now to get it in time so you can send it out for November 3rd. Again, head on over to iwillvote.com. We will be reminding you throughout the show. Shout out to Brandy and Monica for their verses. That was dedicated to Michelle Obama's voting project to get everyone to vote. So I thought that was really incredible that they used that amazing, huge platform to remind people the importance of voting. If we have not seen how much that makes a difference, not just in presidential elections, but your local elections. A lot of things that have been happening could have been avoided if people voted in their local elections as well. So I just wanted to remind you guys about that. Again, head on over to iwillvote.com so you can register to vote, you can check your registration status, or you can request an absentee ballot. You can also call the voter hotline that you can see up on the screen, 833-336-8683. Again, iwillvote.com. There will be links available in the description of this video and our podcast. Again, if you have not subscribed to our podcast, head on over to kempireradio.com. There are links there. One second. Let me just check the chat room. Hey, everybody in the chat room. I see you guys. Thank you for being here. If Kamala wants to come on, she can. She can call right on in. We can make that happen. Data with the jokes. Data with the jokes. Okay. So I just wanted to do some hot topics before I jump into Brandy versus Monica. There's a lot of things that have been going on this week. As we said already, happy birthday to Beyonce. Today is her 39th birthday. Congratulations to Tyler Perry. He's officially has been confirmed by Forbes as a billionaire. By Forbes. You know, Forbes has challenged a lot of people that claim to be billionaires, including Kanye West. But they confirmed this week that Tyler is a billionaire based on some of his assets, including $320 million in the films, plays, TV shows, things like that, which he owns 100% of the content. I know we've been very critical of Tyler Perry's scripts and things like that. But I mean, he's the billionaire right now, and that's my background. But congratulations to Tyler. You know, one thing I do love about Tyler is that he's not greedy with his wealth. He shares his wealth all the time in incredible ways. There's just countless things that he's done, paying for people's groceries and buying cars for people, putting people through college. There's just so many incredible things that Tyler has done, and that should outweigh any criticism that we have of him. But also that adds up to his billions, 300 million in cash and investments. Lord, imagine having 300 million in cash. Lord, that needs to be me. 280 million in the Tyler Perry Studios. We should ask Silent how that was, because we saw a video of the Tyler Perry Studios in Atlanta, and it looked incredible. It's a huge studio. I think that alone is going to create such a tremendous legacy for Tyler Perry. In addition to his billionaire status, Tyler has 60 million in BET Plus streaming as an investor. You know, he has quite a few different shows on that streaming service that BET has. Also, he has 40 million in homes and quote unquote toys. Not sure what that is, probably cars and things of that nature. So congratulations to Tyler Perry on becoming I feel like we've seen so many people become billionaires. Isn't it crazy? We never heard of this, you know, especially for Black and brown people. It was a handful of billionaires. Now it feels like every other week, oh, we have another Black billionaire. That is goals. That's my goal. Also this week, congratulations to Usher. He announced today that he will be launching his Las Vegas residency. I'm actually shocked that it's taken him so long to do one, because he's, you know, in regards to music, he's been pretty cold in regards to having, you know, major hits and things like that, even though, you know, Usher is a tremendous talent. So I would have thought he would have went to Vegas a long time ago. But based on how he described this Vegas show, it sounds like it would be incredible. So incredible. So I'm excited to see it. I'm not sure if I will be venturing out. It's set to launch next year, because right now we're in a pandemic and Vegas is closed. July 16th, 2021, but tickets go on sale on September 10th, 2020. I'm not sure how people feel about that. Let's talk about it in the chat room. What are your thoughts on Usher launching this Vegas show, and are you going to see it? Honestly, if I didn't go to see Janet in Vegas, I probably won't go see Usher. That's just me, though. I know a lot of people love Usher. And the Vegas run is supposed to run until January of 2022. No word on if there will be rescheduling, but this is the news right now. Also, Garcelle. Have you guys been watching The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills? She's the first Black woman on this particular series. And I think she adds such new energy and life to it. She's probably too real for these ladies. Well, this week, you know, they've had their reunion and people wanted to call Garcelle out in regards to, they had some sort of charity event at Kyle Richards' home. And I guess Garcelle had bid on some particular item that was $5,000. So Kyle waited until the reunion to point out that Garcelle had not paid. So Garcelle released an Instagram story confirming that she was just booked and busy. It just slipped through the cracks. But it was interesting that Kyle decided that was the opportunity to bring it up, as opposed to picking up the phone and reaching out to Garcelle and say, we haven't received your money. But Black Twitter is coming for Kyle Richards right now. And that was one of the things that Garcelle said. she feels like the ladies were a little fearful of in regards to coming at her, but they weren't very embracing either of her during the season. She's really the only reason why I watched Beverly Hills this season, because I was like, wow, and she did not disappoint. Matter of fact, I'd like to play for you guys a clip, if they will allow me the audio. YouTube, please. I want to play this clip for them. Let's see if I can find it. I'll just go to your videos, Kemp. It's on your channel. Let's see. Hold on, guys. Let me get this together. There's just a lot of different, no, it's not really a lot. I'm being dramatic. Excuse my drama. Let's see if you guys can hear it.
You're mad. I'm back.
Hey guys, I want to take a few moments to say my piece, if you will. You guys know that I'm a straight shooter. I say it like it is. I try to speak my truth always. I got called out at the reunion of Beverly Hills saying that I bid for a charity event and did not pay for it. I hope you guys know better than that. It fell through the cracks innocently. I was traveling all over the world last year, and it innocently fell through the cracks. Why wouldn't I pay for something that I did? This is my character. This is my my integrity. I don't play around when it comes to things like that. I wanted to set the record straight. I know the show is about drama, but when it comes to who I am as a person, I don't play around with things like that. There, I said it. And now let's go on with the show.
Thanks, Garcelle, for my segue. I hope you guys were able to hear that audio. Let me know in the chat room if you're able to hear. We're trying to figure this out. First time ever doing a live here on YouTube via Zoom. And of course, if you've been following the Kempire radio show for a very long time, you know we've been doing. Oh, hold on. Please hold, guys. Sorry, I had a lot of things going on in my ears right there. Let me see what the chat room is saying. Data says, Garcelle said it fell through the cracks. Yes, that's what the housewives are supposed to do, be shady boots, and that's why I watch. Garcelle was too much for them. She's not a Portia. Garcelle is very intelligent. Her fashions were not it, though. Damn. That's why we love Data. Data tells it like it is. I think apparently we need to move to New Zealand because we need that type of energy here. Let me just get a little water, guys. Were you guys able to hear the audio in the chat room? I just want to make sure that the audio is working because I have a couple of other videos I'd like to share with you guys, including something that I predicted and then happened. Yes, coming up a little bit later on. Well, shout out to Garcelle. I love Garcelle. I hope she comes back. I do think it was shady, but of course, as Data said in the chat room, it adds to the drama of the show, and especially Beverly Hills. Beverly Hills really didn't have anything this season. So, excuse me. Oh, I forgot to show you guys hold on, I gotta share this with you guys. In celebration of our girl's birthday, I had a nice little PowerPoint presentation situation. Happy birthday, Beyonce. This is, of course, from Black is King, specifically the Brown Skin Girl video. I hope you guys have seen it. If you have not, it's available on Disney+. Not that I'm really happy with Disney Plus right now with their $30 streaming costs for just one movie. Okay. And it's not, and you know what it is? It's not that I don't have it. It's just the principle of it. Like really are we in a recession? I don't know what you would call it. Definitely economic crisis. You're charging people $30 to see Mulan, specifically families, because they're the ones who really want to see Mulan. I could care less, to be honest with you. But I was really shocked when I went to Disney Plus today and I saw that. But yeah, happy birthday, Beyonce. Go talk to your friends at Disney Plus about this whole Mulan garbage. I hope I'm glad you guys appreciated my Beyonce clip there. But as I said before, tonight I want to talk about Brandy versus Monica. We're going to talk about it in just a little bit. I've been giving people an opportunity to get in the chat room. Again, if you haven't already, head on over to your social media, your Twitter, your Facebook, your Instagram, which I need to do, and let people know. Matter of fact, I'll do it live with you guys here. Because why not? Because we're that type of show, right? All right. However, let me see. Okay. Hey guys, we are live right now on YouTube, recording a live broadcast of the Kempire. Swipe up. Shout out to Data. You're like, right, it should come with popcorn and pop. I agree. Like, come on now. Like, what is happening here? Just 1 second, guys. I'm trying to do a bunch of different things at the same time. But as I said to you before, also available at KempireRadio.com. If you would like to become a patron, our Patreon is on KempireRadio.com. It will be in the top right corner. Click it, become a patron just for $1.99 a month, and it will help us do a lot more. You'd be surprised the amount of money that I personally have to invest in making things like tonight happen and other things and promo and things like that. So if you want to become a patron, it's just $1.99. You get exclusives, information about upcoming guests before anyone else knows. You get to hear, like we did the Brandy review. People that are patrons of our Patreon heard that a week before anyone else. So all of that great stuff. Hold on, guys. Let me just promote this on Instagram. Okay. Let's see. I'm just promoting this stuff. Also on the KempireRadio.com website, you can also get links to our merch store. So at our merch store, you can get face masks, not the specific one, but a Kempire Radio face mask. You can get tote bags, sweatshirts, you know, fall is coming, t-shirts, magnets, mugs, all kinds of really cool stuff are available there. That will be the little internet ball in the right-hand corner. Click that. You just see, I need like multiple hands, y'all. Multiple hands to make this happen. Okay. All right. But anyways, I'm gonna focus on you guys. What kind of thing is Silent putting in the chat room right now? I have no idea what that message means. All right, hold on. I got a little something for you guys to watch. Let's see. Let's share screen.
Bae,
What up?
you know who should have did a versus battle?
Who?
Brandy and Monica.
It would have been straight, but everybody know Brandy winning that.
Baby, I know you lying. Monica got hits.
So Brandy ain't got hits.
Brandy got hits, but they not hitting like Monica hits though.
How?
How? What you mean how?
Make it make sense, Queen.
So gone over you. No Monica.
I wanna be down with what you're going through. I wanna be down. I wanna be down with you, no matter what time of day or night. It's true. I wanna be down.
Just one of them days that a girl goes through when I'm angry inside. Don't wanna take it out on you. I just wanna be all alone, and you think I treat you wrong. Just one of them days.
How can one be down? Just tell me where to start. 'Cause every time you smile, I feel tremors in my heart. I have but one concern. How can I get with you till my day comes? Here's what I'm gonna do. Be sitting up in my room, back here thinking about you. I must confess, I'm a mess for you. Be sitting up in my room, back here thinking about you. I must confess, I'm a mess for you.
I don't know why it does that, but I hope you guys got the gist of what we were trying to do with that, just to start the conversation about the verses. So shout out to Trey Mo. He's a hilarious comedian with his puppet girlfriend. And shout out to Truth, because I'm sure you guys saw a quick snippet of the behind the scenes of the Versus. You know, Versus broke all kinds of records on, when was it, Monday night, August 31st. It was seen, of course, on Instagram and available also on Apple Music. I want to show you guys just some of the records that were broke that night. So as you guys can see, so look at all the records that were broke. This was so incredible. Concurrent viewers, 1.2 million. Total viewers for the night, 4.2 million. They raised about $250,000 for When We All Vote, the Michelle Obama campaign. 100 million in-stream likes, 35,000 plus people clicked to sign up to vote. That's incredible. And 5 billion plus impressions. That's huge. I don't know if you guys were in the chat room at the time when they were, when they were live, but it was incredible to see all of, between the fans, but a lot of times you're only really seeing the celebrities comment and whatnot. But it was incredible to see, the homage that was being paid to both Brandy and Monica. So I thought that was really, really incredible to see. But to see the amount of records that were broke, and as you can see at the bottom where it says 1 million plus tweets in the US alone surpassed the 2020 VMAs that happened the night before. As I said before, the VMAs missed an opportunity really to bring these women together so that we could actually celebrate them even more, especially because that was one of the rare performances that they did of The Boy Is Mine. Okay, let me just get this. So let's talk about it. If you haven't already, head on over to the chat room. Let us know your favorite songs from the night. Who did you think won this Verzuz? I know a lot of times a lot of people have been saying, this was a celebration, this was for the culture. And honestly, I believe that is the ultimate finding and end result of this, is that we love both Monica and Brandy. They both added such an incredible moment in time for everyone in music. But we're gonna break down the songs, and I want to hear your favorites. I'm gonna share with you my thoughts on who I think won the Verzuz and why I think that they won the Verzuz. Because let's be real, Verzuz started out as someone has to win. So just to preface, everything else, I love Brandy and I love Monica. I grew up with both of them. I have a lot of greats. I was reminded on Verzuz how many Monica songs I grew up on and love. But of course, Brandy's been here on the show, so we really love her too. And she's an incredible artist and vocalist. So we're going to talk about it. Let's start out. So the Verzuz, as I said before, broke all kinds of records. And Brandy started it off, and she played What About Us? First of all, it was shocking to me that Brandy, her first 3 songs were from Full Moon. I was not ready for that. I thought maybe something from the debut album, maybe, or maybe something from Human, something not out the gate with Full Moon. Full Moon's sort of like that back pocket thing that you want to kind of bring. Because as I said before, Full Moon alone needs its own Verzuz, because that's such an incredible album. It's unfortunate that Full Moon didn't get the justice that it deserved, I believe. And I believe the same for Monica's Still Standing. I think it received a lot of kudos and it did well, but there were so many great songs on Still Standing, and she took such a long time to put that album out. So I feel like they both have albums that were probably one of the most incredible of their careers, and it really didn't get the justice that it deserved. But anyways, rewinding back, Brandy started off with What About Us, the Rodney Jerkins produced track, versus Monica then played Everything to Me. And as I mentioned before, I feel like Still Standing is one of Monica's best albums, front and back. So for me, that round, because when What About Us came out, I didn't love What About Us. I didn't hate it either, but it wasn't my favorite track from Full Moon. There's so many incredible tracks from Full Moon. I mean, like I said, she could have played a bunch of songs from Full Moon that are fan favorites, but for me that round, Monica wins with Everything to Me. You may not agree with me, but that's okay. You can love both songs anyway. How that rhymes. Then the next round, Brandy played He Is. And if you haven't heard my interview with Warren Campbell, head on over to YouTube. You're already there. Listen to my interview with Warren Campbell. He talks about the creation of He Is and the journey that Brandy was going through at the time. So it's really important for you to hear the story behind He Is. It's actually one of her, probably like a cult classic hit for her. A lot of people love that song. But then Monica played A Dozen Roses, which I believe is that produced by Missy Elliott? And originally, I was going to give it to Monica because He Is was never my favorite, because I know a lot of the stars had their favorites. But hearing the music that night, and I didn't listen on Instagram, I listened on Apple Music on my television with good sound. So hearing it on a good sound system really changes your experience of music. So you're hearing all the intricacies that these artists put in their music and their vocals and their production. So for me, at this hour, I'm going to give this one to Brandy. Brandy's going to get this one for me. I'm keeping score here. Well, I'm not really keeping score, so don't ask me to score at the end. Then after Monica played A Dozen Roses, Brandy jumped in and played, of course, the album title, Full Moon, which was produced by Mike City. Here is what I loved about this particular song. First of all, the song's incredible, but I love that this Rodney Jerkins produced album, but this track wasn't Rodney's. This one was Mike City. So I thought that was incredible. That first of all, that she named the album after this particular song. She sounds incredible on it. I mean, I listen to Brandy all the time, but like I said, hearing it on a sound system and in this venue, it was just very different. So I can only imagine what it was for the ladies. And we're going to talk about the fashion and everything like that in between. I'm not going to go song by song straight through, but we're going to talk about fashion. We're going to talk about some of the quote unquote shady moments that happened throughout the Verzuz. But after Full Moon, Monica played So Gone. Another classic Monica. But this was hard for me to choose. So for me, I gave this a tie because I feel like the songs are so different. I mean, and Brandy and Monica are so different artists, but in comparison to these particular two songs, I had to give it a tie. But after this, Brandy told a story about Tupac knowing who she is and playing the clip where he mentions her song and her in it. One thing I have to give to Brandy, that's like she came fully produced, fully prepared, fully ready to let people know her history. Brandy has a competitive side, so I could see that in how she planned her set. So I thought it was a stunt with the Tupac clip, and then she jumps into I Want to Be Down, and then the I Want to Be Down remix. Brandy, and then Monica plays Don't Take It Personal. Don't Take It Personal was a huge Monica hit. Great song. I loved hearing it that night. However, the stunt that Brandy did with this particular song, first of all, the Tupac story, I Want to Be Down being such an incredible song for her first single, but then the remix that just was so monumental for music and hip hop. Brandy wins that round for me. She has to win that round for me. So after Monica played Don't Take It Personal, Brandy played Baby. And for those of you that have been following the show for a long time, and in my Brandy B7 review, I mentioned this, Brandy's debut album wasn't the time that I really connected with Brandy and really fell in love with her music and her voice. I really fell in love with her music on Never Say Never. The debut album, I liked the songs. You know, hearing them back really reminded me how much I liked the songs. However, they weren't my favorites of Brandy's. They're still not my favorites. But she played Baby, and then Monica played Like This and Like That, and I like this and like that. But listening to it again, because I didn't just listen to verses. I went back and I listened to the songs and really just kind of broke them down in my head and sort of went back through the feeling of what I felt when I first heard some of these songs. But I had to give that one to Brandy because Like This and Like That, although it's a nice song and it's a great song, Baby, just to me, vocally, just the mood. I remember the video. Like, I couldn't even remember the video for Like This and Like That. So for me, Brandy wins this round. Just a reminder, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. I appreciate you guys being here. Just want to remind you that today we also released our podcast episode. This will also be a podcast episode, a bonus one. But we had an episode released this morning featuring singer-songwriter Unique. Make sure you guys stream his song Friday. I played for you, but YouTube would copyright infringe me. But you can hear the song on the podcast, as I said before, and links to his music video will be available in the podcast description. Again, you can subscribe to the podcast at kempireradio.com. Our interview was really great. I really enjoyed having a conversation with Unique. He's such an incredible artist. I wish more people knew about his music. So that's why I really try to have these artists come on our platform. So please go out and support. His song is called Friday, Here on a Friday. Make sure you check that out and support it. Since the chat room's already talking about fashion, let's jump into fashion before we go into more of the rounds. We ended with Baby versus Like This and Like That. Brandy took that one for me. I do want to hear what you guys think in the chat room. Let's talk about the fashion now. And I'm going to be real with you guys. We already know I love Brandy. I love Monica too. But I'm going to be real with you in regards to fashion. Testing. You guys can hear me? Just want to make sure you can hear me. So Data can hear me, so because he's talking about the fashion. But in regards to fashion, now let's just first talk about makeup. Both of them looked incredible. Makeup was on point. They looked beautiful. That's the one thing that I noticed. Hair, Brandy bringing back the braids. We've known her for braids. Loved it. Monica's bob, very cute. Enjoyed it. Makeup and hair was on point. But let's talk about the clothes. The clothes. First of all, I'm not going to sit here and act like I am a stylist. I'm not going to act like I'm a fashionista. However, I know it looks good. Brandy's outfit. First of all, her pants were not flattering. Brandy has a shape, especially now that she's gained a little weight. She has a great shape. I wish she wore something that highlighted her shape a little bit more, or complemented her shape a little bit more. It doesn't even necessarily to highlight her shape. The pants to me just made it seem like, wait a second, like you couldn't see her shape. I didn't like that. I did like the jacket. I feel like if the jacket was paired properly with the right pair of jeans or pants, it would have been on point. Like I said, I feel like her makeup and hair were beautiful. I liked the jacket. As Data said in the chat room, the jacket was like almost $2,000. But just because something is expensive doesn't make it good or look good on a particular person. But let's talk about Brandy's shoes. There's so many incredible, beautiful shoes for women. I see them all the time. I'm not sure why Brandy chose those particular shoes. I just don't feel like they were flattering, not for television at least, or not for, on camera. Some shoes look better in person. Like if I was in person, maybe it looked better. And that brings me to Monica's look, because Monica's look on camera looked good. It just it looked good. But I saw pictures afterwards and it doesn't photograph well. So on video, it looks good. And it looks, and that's the incredible eye of the stylist. The stylist can say, this outfit may not look good to you right now, but on camera, it's going to look incredible. And Monica stuck to, this is her style. Monica is a person that loves to talk about, and if you follow her on Instagram, she celebrates fashion all the time on Instagram. So I've never been a fan of people wearing name brands all over themselves, because I feel like that's so new money. But so many women in music and hip hop do. So it is trendy. So I get why. And it did look good on her. It's like, she didn't look bad. But I don't know, something with the pants, I don't know if they could have been tighter, but like when she's like certain movements that she would make, it would just look a little odd. And a damn you people on Instagram and on Twitter for changing her shoes to the ones from the music video. You guys are terrible, but it was funny. It was definitely funny. It was definitely funny. I enjoyed the memes on Twitter, and I saw that Monica and Brandy said that they enjoyed some of the memes that they saw. But as I said, I feel like Monica's looked better on camera, but when you see photographs of it off camera, just in, as I said, photographs, it didn't look as good, in my opinion. Let's see what the chat room is saying. Batty Twins, shout out to Carrie and Craig. I would have preferred the outfit she wore for the census performance. Yeah, that was actually cute. It's referring to Brandy's outfit. Data said the shoes looked weird because the pants were off. If it was the denim skirt, it would have slayed. I agree with that. Truth Cluster says form-fitting jeans would have looked dope too. Data went on to say, when Monica stood up, the leather gathered in the front like sagging crotch. It really did. I mean, he's right. Shout out to the people in the chat room. Batty Twin says, Ashley did an amazing job with Brand for 211 era, but I guess Brand is in a different space right now and her look isn't a priority anymore. But we are allowed to talk about it, and we are talking about it. If we had to pick, though, in regards to fashion, we're not talking about the music, who won in the fashion department on the Verzuz? I want to hear from you guys in the chat room. Again, please make sure you're linking everyone on Twitter, on your Instagram, on your Facebook to tonight's show. We're going to be live maybe for another hour. I still have to go through the rest of the songs. You may not agree with everything that I say, but that's the great thing about this world. We can have different opinions and still love each other, hopefully. Let's see. I had some notes. I also had some. We'll go back to the songs and we'll talk about some of the highlights throughout. And I also want to talk about the songs that they probably should have played as opposed to what they chose. To me, the end result of the Verzuz really comes down to song selection. And that's how I came up with who I believe, if we had to choose a winner, this particular artist won for me. Let's head on back. We're at number 6. Okay. Brandy plays Angel in Disguise. And if you're a Brandy fan, you have to be Brandy. No, matter of fact, you don't have to be a Brandy fan to know Angel in Disguise. You know why? Because they played Angel in Disguise so much on WBLS here in New York, and I'm sure they played it on some of their other stations as well. They played it all the time. So a lot of people were getting their life in the chat room in regards to Angel in Disguise. But then Monica went in her bag and pulled out You Should Have Known Better, which we know is allegedly about C Murder, which we should talk about because that also was in the news right before Verzuz in regards to Monica versus Master P Monica versus Master P and I guess some of these other women that are in love with C Murder, aka Corey Miller, free Corey Miller, hashtag. Well, yeah, so she played Should Have Known Better, which is one of her popular songs. And it's so funny that everyone said, Monica has this sort of street vibe. And I never really thought of Monica like that until now, 2020. It took me that long to sort of be like, oh yeah, she really is sort of like a little bit more quote unquote hood, as opposed to like Brandy. But it's her audience. Her audience loves her songs and they connect with Monica so well. We do have to point out Monica and Brandy, their songs and albums took over the charts this week. The Verzuz really catapulted their music back onto the charts. I think it's so incredible. But Should Have Known Better is definitely an incredible song for Monica. However, hearing Angel in Disguise over my Bose soundbar, and then when I played it again on another stereo system in preparation for tonight's show, it wins. Shout out to Rodney Jerkins. Shout out to Fred Jerkins. May he rest in peace. Shout out to LaShawn Daniels. They had no idea, I think, at the time when they were creating this as young people, young, gifted artists trying to create new music for this already incredible artist who had a multi-platinum album already. They took risks and they created such great music on Never Say Never. And Angels in Disguise, I completely forgot how incredible Brandy sounded on that album. She really was going through a vocal change because if you listen to her debut album, Brandy, and you listen to songs like Angel in Disguise, as a vocalist, she came in so strong. So for me, that round, Brandy definitely wins. Oh, let's see what the chat room is talking about. I love you guys. You guys are incredible. When it comes to fashion, Data says that in beat, face, and the hair, Monica will always have it. Batty Twin says Brandy definitely won. Her intros for the songs and get song choices. She had a great DJ. Data went on to say, Lil Kim said she wanted to be on the track back when they were on Atlantic, but it didn't end up happening. Batty Twins, I wish they did the songs by eras though. It was, not Gunica. Y'all are terrible. But that is my favorite name for Monica. I think Monica would love that name too. So whatever. But I agree with you, Batty. Well, Carrie or Craig, I'm not sure which one is watching, but maybe you both are watching. Hey guys. I agree with you because there's certain points where it's sort of like music changes, they change. It was sort of, it would have been nice if they did play it in that sort of order, but that's, they have Verzuz. Have they released what their rules are? All I know is they're supposed to choose 20 songs, but we'll get to that with this one. Because it's like 25 songs here for each. But yeah, shout out to the chat room. I love hearing from you guys. Let me know your thoughts as we're going through this. It's. I mean, it could be Craig too. Don't they live together? Shout out to the Batty Twins. Love your channel. I think I'm subscribed. I should be subscribed. Shout out to the Jamaican Massive. All right, I need a little water because I'm talking a lot. All right, so this next Verzuz. If you're just tuning in, of course, I'm the Kempire. You're listening to our very first the Kempire live of 2020. And we're probably going to try and do this once a month. We're going to commit to once a month just because it is a lot to prepare for a show. But I am so glad that you guys are here. And I hope that you will be here every month when we do it. And again, we're reminding you guys, if you're not registered to vote and you live in the United States, head on over to iwillvote.com. Again, iwillvote.com. You can register to vote there. You can check your voter registration status. Also, you can request your absentee ballot there as well. So head on over to iwillvote.com. And shout out to Brandy and Monica for creating and raising $250,000 for We Will Vote, or We All Will Vote, the charity for Michelle Obama. Whew, let's see. Okay, this next round. Brandy, first of all, Brandy, I wasn't ready for this. Brandy was reading poems. She was giving us some real Moesha-esque moments during this verses. First of all, I didn't know Brandy was a poet. Well, she was reading poems for us, and there were a lot of great memes. But shout out to Brandy, because she really was trying to make this a celebration, make this an experience. You could tell she took her time and figured out what she wanted to say for each song. And I know that she dedicated the song to people like Whitney Houston. Shout out to Chadwick Boseman's family, wife and family. If you haven't listened to our wellness podcast this week, we dedicated that entire episode to him, and we talked about what can we learn from when someone passes. So if you haven't listened to that, we do have a wellness series called Know Better, Do Better, Live Better here on the network. Head on over to KempireRadio.com. Make sure that you subscribe so you don't miss an episode. So Brandy introduced this by, celebrating the lives of the people that we've lost over the last few months, years. And she played Missing You from the Set It Off soundtrack that Silent from True Exclusives has not seen. It's coming to Netflix. When is it coming to Netflix? This month or next month? One of the months. I could only watch that movie, I think, twice. I don't even know if I even watched it twice. It might have just been once, because that's how sad that movie was. That is a hard movie to watch. And then when you hear Missing You featuring Brandy, who's been here on the show, Tamia, who's been here on the show several times, Shaka Khan, and Gladys Knight, all incredible voices on this incredibly beautiful song, connected to this incredibly beautiful, tragic story. But then, one of my favorite Monica songs of all time. Yes. Monica plays For You I Will, written by one of my favorite songwriters of all time, Diane Warren, produced by David Foster. Reminds me, have you guys seen the David Foster Netflix documentary? I heard he is trash as a father, but he sort of puts it out there in this episode, in this documentary. I have not watched it yet, but just speaking of David Foster. But anyways, so Missing You versus For You I Will. For You I Will is actually one of Monica's #1 songs. If you have not looked, Billboard compared like Monica versus Brandy in regards to hits and things like that. And Monica technically has more #1 hits than Brandy. And I forgot why, because she has The Boy Is Mine, she has For You I Will, and Don't Take It Personal hit #1, if I'm not mistaken. So those are her 3 #1 hits on the Hot 100. But for me, this section, Missing You versus For You I Will, I couldn't choose. That's a tie for me. That's a tie for me. You have legends on one song, and then you have such an incredible song from Monica. I thought that was beautiful. A lot of people, shout out to Carrie in the chat room. He said, I shed a tear when Brandy played Missing You. Then Monica played For You I Will right after. It was a really beautiful moment. There's no way you can choose between those two songs. I love that. Now this next 2 songs, I'm still up in the air, and I want to hear from you guys what you think in regards to the songs. Brandy played Almost Doesn't Count, which is one of her favorite songs to perform. because she sounds incredible when she performs it. One thing we have to remember, when Brandy recorded this song, Almost Doesn't Count, Brandy probably was like 17, 18. Brandy singing this song and then hearing it today, it's sort of like, oh my God, like how does someone that young really capture the emotion of a song like this? And I can get why it means even more to her now as a grown woman. Well, then Monica played one of my favorite songs from her catalog, Why I Love You So Much. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. Which one would you choose? Vocally, I have to give it to Brandy on Almost Doesn't Count. The subtleness in her vocals. She doesn't have to go overboard with her vocals on this particular song. She just delivers. But the emotion, and the thing is and this is why I'm so caught up with this particular song, because Why I Love You So Much, I have such an emotional reaction to Why I Love You So Much. It really, to this day, I listened to it this week, and it brought me back to what I felt in that moment. And not a lot of singers can do that. Not a lot of singers can do that. And this was a 13-year-old Monica recording the song? 12, 13? That was the other shady thing that Monica had to bring. I was like 12 when I recorded this. 12. I think she might have been a little bit older. I don't know if she was exactly 12 with all these songs, but she was definitely young. She was definitely maybe a teenager when she recorded some of these songs. The chat room, I see you guys. Yeah, I think it's a tie for me with this one too. But this is just a credit to both of them. They're both incredible artists. But I do have a winner, but we'll continue. Brandy then went on to play Broken Hearted. You know what? This is what I wish kind of Brandy did with some of these songs. Like Broken Hearted, I wish she would have given us the real story behind it, because we know some of the stories behind her songs, the alleged stories. I kind of wish she just revealed them. Just was like, well, this one was about blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? Or like for the Broken Hearted, when Broken Hearted was recorded, I was in love with Wanye, or, I had just met him and I had the hugest crush on him. I know she's told the story before, but I kind of wish she kind of threw it out there again for those that didn't know, especially with 1.2 million people watching. 4-point-something million people in total watched this. I kind of wish that she did give up some of those stories. But Broken Hearted, as I said before, Brandy's debut album was not my favorite album. But hearing this vocal on my soundbar, again, I was like, and then you hear the difference in Brandy's voice from her debut album to what it is today and how huskier her voice has gotten. So you're like, whoa, this girl has such incredible, like you understand why she got a record deal, because she was so incredible and able to emote on such a song at, like, she probably recorded this when she was like 14, 15 years old. So, and able to do something like that and just sound so incredible. I'm sorry, like okay. So then Monica went on to play Love All Over Me. Shout out to Cristal, who's been here on the show. We talked about Love All Over Me here on the show. If you've not seen that interview, just Google it on YouTube. It's available there. Cristal tells us a story about how this song came about. It's one of my favorite songs from Monica. It's from one of my favorite albums that Monica has, Still Standing. Probably two of my favorite albums from Monica would probably be The Boy Is Mine and Still Standing. Those are probably like my favorite Monica albums. But if I had to choose, I don't know. What do you guys think? I see in the chat room you guys all felt that. Let me see. It was a tie for Missing You versus For You I Will. Almost Doesn't Count was a tie for you guys. There's a couple of ties here. It's kind of hard to choose. But I'm telling you, when I can still hear that Broken Hearted vocal, and I was just blown away. Lucretia says she was 12. Okay, Lucretia, don't yell at me. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat room. I really do appreciate you guys being here. I love chatting with you guys. I miss kind of doing a live show, but it is a lot to do every week. Like I said before, we still release. We have 2 series on the Kempire Radio Network. One is our wellness series, Know Better, Do Better, Live Better. So we talk about mental health. We talk about spirituality, exercising, diet, all those different things we talk about on that wellness series. Comes out every Wednesday. And of course, every Friday, the Kempire. It's our entertainment show. We play music, we talk entertainment, hot topics, all of that. When you subscribe to Kempire Radio on your favorite podcast platform, you automatically get those episodes so you don't miss anything. So head on over to kempireradio.com and subscribe. We're available on Google, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Pandora, iHeartRadio. So head on over there. We need your support because we are nothing without listeners. That's just point blank, period. So thank you guys. Let's see. Oh, Lucretia said, Brokenhearted is one of my favorites of Brandy. I do love All Over Me, but Brokenhearted is it for me. And you know, Lucretia, I think if I didn't listen back or if I didn't hear on Versus Brokenhearted live on like a good sound system, like I said, not on like your phone, I probably would have chose Love All Over Me. But hearing the intricacies of Brandy's voice and just how amazing it was for such a young woman to do that, that's what changed it for me. That's exactly what changed it for me. All right, there was a break in between. There was a 2-minute break. They had 1.2 million people watching them, and a lot of people tweeting about it, and people, reading body language and things like that. Can we talk a little bit about, first of all, Monica's new single, Trenches, featuring Lil Baby? First of all, it's true to Monica. It's just what it is. I think it's catchy as hell. As soon as she played it, I was like, I like this. This is good. I don't know if it was planned for her to play that song because I think a lot of people were sort of confused during the 2 minutes or whatever it may be. I know that Monica said that originally it was just supposed to premiere that night. After, at midnight or something like that. But I feel like they both should have been playing like their music. This is your opportunity, ladies. Use it. But Trenches for me is true to Monica. It's catchy as hell. It's produced by the Neptunes. I think she might have a hit on her hands. I'm excited for her because R&B should not be dead. The 90s where these women were shining was the height of R&B music. It's so shocking to me what has happened to R&B. But someone tweeted the other day and said that R&B, the reason why R&B is dead is because people aren't delivering the type of music that they should. I think that is partially true, but I also think that there is also, because I feel like there are white artists doing R&B music, but it's not labeled R&B, and that they're successful. I think they really need to start putting their money behind these artists. Monica and Brandy's numbers alone should prove that to people. Brandy's new album, B7, incredible. I can't wait till they do some more singles and videos and things like that. Trenches, though, love it. They debuted it sort of during that 2-minute break. Can we talk a little bit about the body energy? A lot of people are body language experts, and they were talking about how different Brandy and Monica's energy was during the Versus Live. I'm gonna weigh in on that. I noticed it too. It was awkward at points, but Brandy and Monica are so different. I had to remind myself that when you see that, you don't really see a lot of interviews with them, but the times that you have seen interviews with them, Monica is always very chill, always very laid back. She's not the bubbly type. Brandy's always been bubbly. I know a lot of people thought it was fake. Back in the day, people used to like, oh, they felt like that was fake. No, that's just how Brandy is. Brandy is bubbly. So when you see those two types, when you see those two types of people on one stage, it's going to look different. It's going to read different. It's going to come across different. But I don't necessarily believe at that moment, because if you saw some of the behind the scenes footage, I just feel like it was a very different energy. I think people want to make them be against each other, and they did have issues. They admitted that. Brandy even admitted during the live that Monica put hands on her, even though I think they confirmed that in a previous interview. But Brandy brought it back up. And I think people forget that Brandy is funny, and Brandy can be funny in a shady way too. Like I have listened to some past interviews that we did. She was being funny and shady in other ways on our show. So I don't know. I feel like people were reading a little too much into it. However, they did confirm this was the first time that they had spoken or seen each other in 8 years, probably 9 years, since the It Belongs to Me era. So if you had, especially if it's not your best friend and you're not communicating via text or something like that, and you've just seen this person, you're not going to be all lovey-dovey. Some people are. Brandy is that type of person. She hasn't seen you in years. Probably next time she sees me, she hasn't seen me in like 5 years. She'll probably be like all over me too. So I think people just read that wrong. Do I think they love each other? Do I think that I think they respect each other. I think they respect each other for what they do. Do I think they're best friends? No. Do I think they need to be best friends? No. I think we need to stop trying to make these women enemies. I think we need to stop trying to make these women be best friends too. Would I like to see them on tour together? Of course. I think they would make a lot of money on tour together. To me, it's smart business. Do they need to do a tour together? No, they don't. They've toured separately for many years and have done fine. However, I do think it would be incredible to do a tour. They did hint at that during the live, and they've hinted at it in the past during the It Belongs to Me era, and it never happened. Will it happen this time around? Well, no. We'll see after the pandemic. Right now, we should all be in our houses. Not everyone is, but whatever. But yeah. What else would I want to say about some of the highlights? Can we rewind a little bit? Let's talk about Thea Fidel. Thea Fidel, if you don't recall, had a sitcom. I think it was on ABC. Brandy, that's where we really first got introduced to Brandy, was on the sitcom. We've known for many years that Thea does not like Brandy. She had issues with Sonia Norwood. She had issues with Brandy. But, that was a long time ago. Brandy was probably 14 or something like that at that time. However, this week, Thea decided to tweet that about the Verzuz, and then she put Team Monica. I don't understand why she had to even choose a team. I don't know why she had to tweet anything, especially you're a grown woman. Thea probably definitely has to be in her 50s, if not her 60s. Like, really, this is what a grown woman does online, and she received backlash. I don't know why she didn't think that she would receive backlash because of it. But she did release a statement stating that Brandy and Sonia made her life hell. I'm not sure how that happened, especially when Brandy was a new art. She wasn't even an artist yet. I don't know how that could happen. I mean, it can happen. However, you haven't probably seen them since then. Why are you still bitter about that? She then prefaced it by saying, I do think that Brandy is a very talented person. Who cares what you think? We know Brandy's talented. 1.2 million people stayed watching these women for 3 hours. We know she's talented. The numbers are there. I hate when people say, I still do think she's very talented. Okay. We haven't thought about you until now. That's my piece on Thea Fidel. I just thought it was unnecessary, especially when they were trying to bring this platform a lot of positivity, and she had to put out that negativity right before it. But whatever. Let's get back to the songs. If you're just tuning in, shout out to everyone in the chat room. I see you guys. Lucretia says, I would love for them to do a tour together. Then I don't have to go all these separate shows like I've been doing. I agree with that. Data weighs in on Thea. Thea and her size 15 girl still bitter that 13-year-old stole her show. I can't. The Batty Twins, aka Carrie, says, yeah, two different personalities. They both were singing and supporting each other. Brandy was in there slipping some little shady comments, though, saying, I've been singing all your songs, you ain't sung mine. But Monica later on in an interview the next day said that, she was just really following the rules in regards to what they had told them in preparation for this. So they had the mics, but the mic was really so that they could communicate. But Brandy was singing. But Brandy, like I said, everyone's different. Some people are going to want to sing. Some people can't help it but want to sing when they hear music. Like she was singing Monica songs too. Monica did sing at certain points as well. And Monica sounded incredible too. So shout out to them. Let's go back. Okay, Top of the World by Brandy versus Anything by Monica. I'm not going to even wait. I'm not going to even spend too much time on this. Top of the World wins for me. Anything, I felt Monica, that's where Monica lost some momentum because it's all about song selection here. If we're going to really figure out, if we're going to call this a versus, I know it's a celebration. It's for the culture. Yeah. But it's called versus. And Monica lost momentum when she chose Anything. I felt like that was the wrong song to choose here. Monica could have chose Street Symphony. That's a dope song. And then even then, I was like, oh, I'm not sure. But she chose the wrong song. So I have to go with Top of the World. But then Brandy plays Borderline. And let me tell you, I love B7. I shared my thoughts. If you've not heard my review on Brandy's new album, Borderline, B7, it is available now on our YouTube, but also available on our podcast network. I feel like Borderline is an incredible song, but Versus is really about celebrating the catalog. I feel like with certain songs, you build emotions and stories and just experiences around certain songs. And I think that's why so many people started downloading some of their old catalogs, is because they really wanted to connect with the way they felt back then. I don't have that connection yet with Borderline. Borderline's very new to us. It's only a month old when this Versus happened. And it's a great song, great vocals. I love what she did on it. I already shared my thoughts on the review. However, then Monica plays Still Standing. And if you've been listening throughout the night, Still Standing, the album, is one of my favorites from Monica. The song, I believe it leaked way before the album even came out, because the album took a long time to come out. And I love it. It's featuring Ludacris. I think it's so representative of Monica, her style, who she is, the message. So for me, Monica wins that round. Let's see what the chat room is saying. Data says, or she could have played All Eyes on Me. That's another incredible track. And then it was interesting. Brandy played Love Again. Love Again grew on me, but hearing Love Again that night really stood out for me, because like I said, when you're hearing things on, certain sound system, it really allows you to hear what these vocalists are doing on these songs. And for me, I loved hearing Brandy sing on Love Again. To me, I love the version that's just her. But then Monica played Commitment. And I didn't love Commitment when it came out, but hearing it on a certain sound system really changed my experience of Commitment. However, for me, Brandy won that round. Also because Brandy got a Grammy nomination with Daniel Caesar for Love Again for that song. 2 nominations, I believe. Let's see what the chat room is saying. Carrie says, I'm surprised she didn't choose Street Symphony. for any of her songs, she didn't choose Street Symphony, which is shocking to me. I understood why she played it. Data says, I wasn't mad at Borderline. I would have been mad if she didn't play it. Okay. Lucretia says, I was waiting on her to play Street Symphony. Just Another Girl was one of my favorites too. I was surprised she didn't play that. I mean, I guess, you know, it's probably hard kind of going through your entire catalog. You're trying to figure out what songs that should I play. But for me, Love Again versus Commitment, Love Again wins. Then Brandy went into Put It Down. And I tweeted, when I heard Put It Down, before 211 came out, I heard 30 seconds of it on SoundCloud. And I was like, what did she just release? This is going to be fire. The thing is, there are not a lot of songs you can hear 30 seconds of and be like, whoa, I'm excited about it. I was excited about Put It Down. I was excited about the collaboration between her and Chris Brown. It was a very successful song for 211. It's the most successful song from 211, surprisingly, because that was a great album. But then Monica plays her collaboration with Usher, and it's a cover, Slow Jams. Slow Jams was a great song. I feel like Usher sounds so good on this song. Monica sounds really good on this song too. But Usher really, and this was on Usher's album. I don't believe this was on any of Monica's albums, but don't quote me on that. But for me, they're two different songs. They're very different. One's a really like ballad, and this other one's like a let's get down in the club. But Put It Down, like I said, any song that can capture you within the first 30 seconds, I have to give it to Put It Down, to be honest. For me. I see Carrie in the chat room says Slow Jams won. He said that I'm kind of mad she skipped the Human album. Me too. Brandy could have played. Well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. There are certain songs I feel like they could have played. I'm at number 14. Brandy goes on to play my favorite album, Who Is She to You, produced by Timbaland. I still feel like there needs to be justice for Aphrodisiac. Aphrodisiac was one of my favorite Brandy albums. It's probably one of the edgier albums that she's ever created. I still love that album. Who Is She to You is one of my favorite tracks from that album. When she played that, I was like, yes. But then Monica played First Night, which I love. Jermaine Dupri produced this. It was her number one single. She got a number one single for First Night. That's another incredible track. I don't know. What do you guys think? I can't pick in that one. For me, that's a tie. Who Is She to You versus First Night? But if we have to go by stats, it would be First Night because that was the number one single on the Hot 100. Just saying. Just keeping it real, y'all. Just keeping it real. Can we jump into another song? Let me see what the chat room is saying. Slow Jams won. Carrie says, Data says, to me, it did Slow Jams better. Data says, Aphrodisiac is my favorite album too. So international. Yes, definitely. Such a good album, but whatever. I told that to Brandy multiple times. Nobody wants to believe me. I think, that's when she recorded Black Pepper, and everyone thought Black Pepper was going to be the first single from Aphrodisiac, and Timbaland lost that song. We don't know where that song is. Brandy definitely doesn't have it. I've asked. Brandy then went on to play Best Friend, which is dedicated to her brother. Shout out to Ray J. Shout out to everyone that released all these little teasers and promo for Versus. I think all of that helped build the momentum for Versus. Ray J put out a little teaser that was really cute. I really thought that was really nice. So Brandy played Best Friend, which has always been dedicated to Ray J. That's a great track. It's actually probably one from that album. That was probably one of my favorite tracks from Brandy. But after she played Best Friend, she played a little bit of Mo to the E to the. She couldn't play the entire song because, of course, they were on Apple, and Moesha right now is on Netflix. We get it. But then Monica played Knock Knock, which is a great song. But if I had to compare and I had to pick one, I'm going to give that one to Best Friend. Just saying. Just saying. Oh, my goodness. And shout out to Data in the chat room. One thing I want to say about the Aphrodisiac album, one of the things that I wanted Brandy to do, but she did it with Missing You. I wanted her to have an Aaliyah moment because if Aaliyah was alive, I feel like she would be a part of this trio of women. And Turn It Up, she mentions Aaliyah. And I thought that would have been a great opportunity to celebrate Aaliyah, especially because we just, celebrated her music was on the 25th. So that would have been a really great opportunity to celebrate Aaliyah. So I wish she kind of played Turn It Up. But yeah, so Best Friend versus Knock Knock. Again, I feel like Monica lost some momentum with that. I think maybe that should probably have played a little bit earlier if she wanted to use that particular song. But then Brandy goes into Sitting Up in My Room. Can we talk about Sitting Up in My Room? And let's talk about the Waiting to Exhale soundtrack. And I always go back and think, like, why wasn't Monica part of the Waiting to Exhale soundtrack? She was out, but they mentioned it during the verses, and Brandy was saying, like, I think Monica was just coming out. Like, I think she was just becoming a name. So it makes sense why she didn't. Because it's so interesting, that era of all the people that were on that, and you kind of think, like, why wasn't Monica on that? But I guess it would make sense if Monica was really just like a brand new artist. But Brandy played Sitting in My Room, which is written and produced by legendary producer Kenny Babyface Edmonds, versus Before You Walk Out My Life. First of all, if you want to know the story behind Before You Walk Out My Life, it's written by Kempire Radio family and my friend, Andrea Martin. I was hoping to have Andrea here tonight. I completely forgot to hit her up to get her here tonight to talk about it. But we talked about it before. So if you have not heard the story behind Before You Walk Out My Life, again, it's available on YouTube. You can hear it there. But yeah, oh gosh. You guys have to choose in the chat room. Sitting up in My Room versus Before You Walk Out My Life. I can't choose that one. What do you guys think? I want to see what the chat room is talking about. Again, guys, if you're tuning into our the Kempire Live podcast for the very first time, subscribe to our YouTube, but also subscribe to our podcast network, Kempire Radio, on your favorite podcast platform. We're available on Google and Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and now available on Pandora. And then Brandy does, right after the Sitting Up in My Room, Before You Walk Out My Life. A lot of people are saying Sitting Up in My Room. Some people are saying Tie. I see you guys. Brandy does an impromptu cover of Change. It is going to come. And I'm telling you, I don't think I was looking at the screen at the time. I just heard her voice and I was like, oh my God. She sounded incredible. And she was trying to get Monica to sing with her, but it was fine. She sounded incredible. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed it immensely. So I love the fact that they even did that. Let's see. Shout out to Monica. She has a new podcast. Everybody trying to get into our world over here. But no, congratulations to Monica. She just announced that she has a new podcast series coming to Apple Music. She just posted this and she says, this is a dream come true. Mo Talk is what it's called. Will be a safe place for us to discuss the many things we're all faced with in today's world. Informative, fun, and real. It will air this Sunday, September 13th. So it's not this Sunday, next Sunday, September 13th. So congratulations to Monica. on her Apple Music podcast. Everyone just got a podcast. But we've been doing this, y'all. We've been doing this. I do want to play something for you guys. Hold on 1 second. Let me just cue this up. Let me just cue this up. Your screen.
You are amazing. Your run's phenomenal.
Okay, all right. How long have you been my assistant? Act accordingly.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean that.
Thank you.
Oh, you still got your mic on.
Oh, shoot.
Okay.
Damn. Okay. Why didn't they take this off of me
Yeah,
upstairs?
I slipped my mind because.
Where's this Uber at?
Oh, you should be pulled up in a second now. Here's your phone.
I got it. Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay, so.
There you go, right there.
Okay, but I'm gonna call you in the morning, okay?
Okay.
All right, seriously. Thank you again for
No
everything.
problem. Be safe.
I'll see you tomorrow.
At your boy, we don't yell.
Babe, you ain't gonna believe who the hell I'm picking up today. Just guess. I'm gonna give you one hint. Versus the person that lost. Hell no, not Monica. Brandy's ass. I just got an Uber from fucking the Brandy. The motherfucking Brandy. Hold on, she coming.
Hello, how you doing?
Hey, I just got through watching you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that, person.
Girl, you will never guess who I'm picking up right now. Monica. And you know I'm a Brandy fan. She better not get in this car and being shady. Oh, she coming. I'm gonna call you back. Hey, girl. Okay. Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. Hello.
I got some stuff. I got the Jack Daniels.
Oh.
I got the orange and Jack, minus the Jack. I know sometimes you don't drink, depending on what mood you in.
Oh, okay. I'm definitely gonna use it.
Got a brush in there in case you want to brush the end of your braids. You know what I'm saying? I got it smelling good. You know.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was 3 hours long. I didn't get paid for 3 hours.
I like how you was kind of being shady a little bit. So that was dope. I dug that part.
It's all love, man. I don't.
You feel like you love Monica a little bit?
Hell no.
I just don't do the shade.
Somebody tell me that junk was gonna last that long.
Brandy in my truck. You know what I mean? I thought that was your last name. I never knew your last name. I thought it was Moesha.
You see her in there with them sandals?
You ain't like my sandals?
Nobody did.
Did you see my face? I wasn't here for it at all.
I mentioned it to her.
But then
It seemed like she was going for it.
Ever heard her talk about a tour?
Don't need to do that because you need that money.
No, we're not doing that. Have me opening for her. Open.
Bitch, you're an opener.
she's not.
It definitely seemed like she was going for it.
Y'all ain't gonna never work together ever.
Like we.
Honey, please.
She was cursing and stuff. She had a whole song called Sideline.
You was being shady. Oh man.
Like sideline, boop, sideline. You can't curse on live.
Didn't the nerve of her talk about releasing this music and holding it down? Toss my check for you is the boy is mine. Like since then, what have we checked for you for? Don't do that.
Don't do my bitch Brandy.
She didn't want to sing with me. She was trying to act a little stuck up, but I gave her props. I told her that she was holding it down when I couldn't hold it down.
Mo to the.
She had that WWE wrestling, what was that, blazer?
You and I both know she wouldn't be as big if I was, come on now, we had the label issues. It's cool, I'm independent now, it's all right.
Cape? Was she gonna jump off and WWE me into a chokehold? I was like, sis, get a stylist. It is
Don't do my
2020, you
bitch Macho
still
Man Randy
struggling.
Savage. Don't do her.
She did look like Lord Farquaad though, didn't she? She did.
You being
they
shady.
Can say
And
what they want about my shoes, but that Lord Farquaad fit was.
You look like
She
Whoopi
put her
Goldberg.
leg ones on.
Whoopi Goldberg dressing that.
I went there, I got that check, I got that bag. I mean, you know, we hugged it out.
We hugged it out.
It was like a little, you know, little church.
We finally established that the boy was mine, because just like the song was mine. So it was good that she was able to like really
Her verses were better though.
be with that, you know.
I watched a little versus battle or whatever. You did good. My girl Brandy when she stopped sitting on.
Anyways, I need to go to like.
Good? You good? Sir? You about to?
No, I'm trying to. It's traffic. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Okay, I mean, you know, sometimes it go different than people expect it to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fine.
Kind of like y'all battle tonight.
This is Scorpio energy. Jesus, Brandy was humble in there, and you.
I don't
just
really like to be talked to while I'm in the Uber.
sitting on top world, top world.
Okay,
top
okay,
world,
yeah.
top.
Can you, this it right here. Can you go ahead and drop me off? Have a good night.
You too, Miss Shady Boots.
Yo,
Everything all right?
you wildin'.
What did he
Did you just say Monica gonna open up for you?
Sis got that Scorpio energy. I don't like it.
Y'all both are queens, but man, if y'all do a tour, you're definitely gonna be the opening act. Maybe Ray J, then you, then Monica. You bugging.
Please stop the car right now.
Are you sure? Because we're in the middle of the interstate.
Positive right now. Thank you.
Okay, let me see if I can get you straight. You ready? You don't want a whiskey shot before you go? I got whiskey back there. You lost, Brandy. You lost. The only thing that was winning was your braids. Those braids was winning. The outfit lost. Shoes lost. Song selection lost. Please. Grammys lost. Monica wins. Hilarious. How you come to ATL and lose? This is Monica City.
Oh my goodness. Shout out to TK on YouTube. Definitely want to give them their credit. I found that and I thought that was hilarious. Because I think you have to laugh at the feud rumors and things like that and make light of it because it's inspired creativity. So shout out to TK on YouTube. That's a TEEKAYY. I can't with you guys in the chat room. Let's see. Let me see something. All right. Let's talk about number 17. We're almost done, guys, and then I will be offline. I do appreciate you guys being here. Shout out to Data, Carrie, True Exclusives. I keep saying your name incorrectly. Lucretia. And I saw that Accra Dion was in here. So shout out to you guys for being here. Do appreciate it. Shout out to all the stars. Shout out to, do Monica fans still go by Dubs? Monica fans. I don't know if they still go by Dubs. But shout out to them, because I know you guys will probably be viewing this later. If you have not subscribed to the Kempire Radio YouTube, do so now. Again, you can hear our 2 series, our wellness series, Know Better, Do Better, Live Better, that airs every Wednesday on the Kempire Radio Network podcast platform. And of course, the Kempire every Friday. And we're going to try and do a live at least once a month, maybe more. We'll see. Data in the chat room. Yes, I'm a dub now. Lies you tell. Number 17, Brandy played one of my least favorite songs from Aphrodisiac, but it's still a great, incredible vocal from her, which features Kanye West. Talk About Our Love. And then Monica played Every Time the Beat Drops. And again, I said this comes down to song selection for me. Talk About Our Love is not my favorite Brandy song or track from Aphrodisiac. However, versus Every Time the Beat Drops, Monica could have played a couple of different songs. First of all, there are songs from Still Standing, like Here I Am. What else did I put down that I wish Monica played? Once in a Lifetime, or One in a Lifetime, Hell No, Inside. There's so many songs that she could have played. I feel like she dropped the ball again. Dropped the ball with the song selection. Talk About Our Love wins that section for me. Let's see. And then Brandy drops one on me that I didn't expect. She played Put That on Everything. And I forgot how many fans love that song. And as I said before, my experience of hearing that song on a sound system was so much better than just like kind of listening it on your phone or whatnot. So I hope more people listen to it on that. But Put That on Everything versus Sideline, that I did. Why was Brandy acting so innocent when she said, and then she was like, my daughter's listening at home. Sarai is 18. She know what all is. That was hilarious. That was a moment. I did love when they I do love them singing together. That was a funny moment. But for me, put that on everything versus Sideline Ho, it's going to be put that on everything. And which reminds me of the story that I need to talk about. We got to talk. We're talking about all these Brandy haters. Let's talk about Young Miami, aka Carisha. That's what Monica. I never knew her real name. Young Miami from City Girls tweeted, "I only knew 2 Brandy songs, so we even," because Brandy had said who? Because Monica had called her by her government, not City Girls or Young Miami. She later deleted that tweet and it was like she's singing Have You Ever. No, girl, there was no need for shade. The City Girls are not, I mean, they're a lot more popular now, but I think if Monica said Young Miami or she said the City Girls, Brandy probably would have known that. But calling her by her name, Carisha, I too was like, who's that? Who's that? Who said that? So I didn't feel that the tweet shade was necessary. Also, you chose the wrong song for your girl Monica. To me, she lost that round. That to me, she lost that round. Then Brandy decided to stunt on all of us and play Impossible from the Cinderella TV movie featuring Whitney Houston. And then I looked at Monica when she played it, and I don't know if Monica knew what was happening. I don't know if she was sort of like, oh, I don't know the song. So I don't know if she realized that Brandy played that. And I love that Brandy was really giving you an overview of her career, her illustrious career. And then she went into another song from the Full Moon LP, When You Touch Me, and then hearing Brandy sing you When You Touch Me. It's like I said before, if you were listening on your phone, I think you had a different experience as opposed to someone listening on the Apple Music or listening on a really great sound system. But when she went in from Impossible to When, I didn't really love the segue from Impossible into that. Maybe it could have been used somewhere else, but I loved When You Touch Me. And then Monica played a good one. This was a good matchup. Trust, the song that she has with Keisha Cole. That's a good song. But when you bring in Whitney as the intro, and then those vocals from When You Touch Me from the monumental album Full Moon, Brandy wins that round. I love Trust, though. Trust was a great song. It should have been probably a lot bigger than it was for Monica and Keisha Cole, but that was a great song. I did enjoy Monica telling the story behind Trust and how that came about. And then Brandy went on to play Have You Ever, one of my favorite Brandy songs, another song written by one of my favorite songwriters, Diane Warren. It was another, Have You Ever was a #1 single, wasn't it? I can't remember now. So I think that's Brandy's second #1. I'm surprised Brandy didn't have more #1s on the Hot 100. What's wrong with you people? But then, okay, Brandy, this was supposed to be Brandy's #20. And then Monica played Just Right for Me. I had to go look it up. I know the song. I couldn't remember the title. But when she played Just Right for Me, I was like, what is she playing? What song is this? I was so confused. I was like, okay, we are at the end. And this is the song you chose, Mo? Again, it comes down to song selection for me. I feel like if you don't choose the right song, again, this is a versus. I know we're celebrating. It's all about celebration. But if you're gonna play Have You Ever versus Just Right for Me, Have You Ever, written by Diane Warren, is gonna win every time. Every time. Just saying. Just saying. The rules for verses, 20 songs, but we still have another one. We still have 2 songs that they played. I don't know what happened here, but I did see confusion on Brandy's face during this moment. Don't know what happened. Just want to remind you guys, the Kempire Radio Network merch. So we have sweatshirts, we have baby onesies, we have all kinds of really cool stuff available on our Teespring merch store. For links, head on over to KempireRadio.com. It will be in the top right corner. Hit the World Wide Web icon, and it will link you to our Teespring store. We have face masks, tote bags, mugs, phone cases, sweatshirts, which you don't see here, but there are all kinds of merch there. I'm working on some really cool designs for the fall, so stay tuned for that. It's not just going to be our logo on it. It's going to be some cool stuff that I hope that you guys will want to wear. I'm trying to get into my creative bag with that, but like I said, I'm doing everything behind the scenes, producing the show, creating the content, promoting the content, but also creating these little great experiences for you guys. If you'd like some Kempire Radio merch, again, head on over to KempireRadio.com, head to the corner of the page, top right, and click the link there. You can also become a patron there as well if you want to support the Kempire Radio at the very first tier. I'm going to show it to you guys. At the very first tier, you can support the show, and you get all kinds of exclusives. You get to know who's coming up on the show. Whenever we have a celebrity guest, you'll know before anyone else. If we have any special album reviews or stories behind the scenes, we're going to make it available here. $1.99 at the very first tier. $9.99 if you want to Kempire All Access, so you can get podcast episodes without commercials like this one. And if you want to be a Kempire VIP, here you get everything, but also you get a free organic tote bag. And I'm going to upgrade that as well. We're going to make some really cool designs for that. Really do appreciate your support. Again, all the information in regards to Kempire Radio will be available at KempireRadio.com. Subscribe, get some merch. The holidays are right around the corner. I'm sure that your family will thank you for some Kempire Radio merch. Just saying. Let's see what the chat room is talking about. Let's see. Yeah, Monica hella dropped the ball again, playing just right for me. Yes, Carrie, got to do some commercials up in here. Dimitri, I still feel Monica had benefited the most from this. Why do you say that? I'd like to hear why you say that. She always does. That's what I don't like. Oh, God. I don't know. I feel like they both benefited. I don't know who benefited more. I mean, I didn't sit down and do the numbers. But I think they both will benefit from this. I think other opportunities are going to open up for them because of this. Let's see. And then, okay, before I jump into the last song. Okay, I do want to take some credit here. And I have a feeling Monica might be subscribed to Kempire Radio on the YouTube or the podcast, or someone linked her to our conversation. Because when Ray J went on the Wendy Williams show and talked about about Brandy doing a versus with Monica, we did a podcast episode and we said, we think they should do it. And I think they need to have a conversation before they do it, because you can't, I don't think the verses would have been what it was if they didn't have the conversation. You can't just put them together and be like, all right, let's do a versus. They had to be a conversation. They had to settle whatever disagreements or whatever misunderstandings they had. And we talked about it here first. So it was interesting to hear Monica talk that way, very similar to what we said during her interview with E.T. before the verses. So, but I'm glad that they had the conversation. No word on what they talked about. But I'm like I said earlier in this episode, I don't feel like they need to be best friends. Yes, they had an incredible career together. Yes, they had incredible music together. They don't need to be best friends. Can they tour together? I hope so, because I think it'd be mutually beneficial. But if they don't tour together, they did fine without touring together. So, but if anything, this versus reminded us is that they are powerful together. People want to see them together. I think people also want to see them fight. You're not going to see that, y'all. It's just pointless. But I think if they do a tour, they should just strictly do this tour as business. This is a business opportunity. We don't need to be friends. Let's not force a friendship. That's what I don't want, because that's inauthentic. If a friendship develops, great. I mean, they've shared a lot of memories. They shared a couple of those memories with us on the Verzuz. I don't feel like they need to force anything. Anytime you try to force anything in life, it blows up in your face. There's no need to do that. I'm glad they settled their whatever beef it was. And a lot of people are still trying to figure out what the beef exactly was. I think it was a variety of different things. But I also think it wasn't just them. I think it was the record executives. I think it was the teams behind each of them really riling this feud up over the years. I don't think it was just them. And I think they really were sort of manipulated into falling into that. That's just my thought. But, you know, I could be wrong. Could be, maybe. I don't know. Let's see what the chat room is saying. Brandy does, okay, we're not gonna read that. The streams had the biggest increase. Her single will have a great debut. She's been everywhere interviewing since Monica. She has her own Apple Talk podcast everybody's talking about. And Brandy has done only one interview since Verzuz, and she's back at home. Monica on promo tour of the Verzuz. I mean, everyone's career is different. I know Brandy did like 2 interviews today. I think one with Hot 97 and one with Big Boy. I mean, Brandy should come on here and talk to us. Come, where you at, Brandy? What's happening? I think they both should come. Someone tell them to call in. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We're going to talk a little bit more and then, sorry, Nara, it's Friday night. Can I go live my life? Y'all, can I go live a life? I'm not going anywhere, y'all. I'm still quarantining. I ain't like these other fools. I'm not like these other fools, just saying. Again, this YouTube live will be available after we sign off. Again, if you want to subscribe to the podcast, there will be a podcast version. Subscribe to Kempire Radio. We're pretty much on every podcast platform that people normally use: Spotify, Google, Apple, iHeartRadio. Definitely support. Appreciate it, guys. Let's go to the last song. So they're supposed to choose 20 songs, but they ended up playing 20. Well, they played more than 21 songs, but 21 songs in regards to Verzuz. There was some confusion, though. Like, Brandy looked confused when Monica decided to play Angel of Mine, when she probably should have played it a lot earlier. Like, she probably should have played it against Put That on Everything. Then she might get me with Angel of Mine, because Angel of Mine is one of my favorite Monica songs, if not my favorite Monica song. So it was a little weird at the end. Monica played Angel of Mine, and then Brandy, which I thought maybe they would play The Boy's Mine for each other, but the way Brandy introduced it seemed as if it was her last song. So I thought that was interesting. But if we have to choose between the 2 songs, for me personally, okay, wait. First of all, The Boy's Mine, #1 single, was #1 on the Hot 100 for 13 weeks. Won them both the Grammy, the only Grammy that each of them have, which is shocking to me. So if we had to go by stats, The Boy's Mine probably would win. However, Angel of Mine, for me, wins this particular category. Just saying. Just saying. What did they go? Uh-oh. Silence back in the chat room. What's happening? Let me see. You guys always talk about what you want to talk about. She definitely needs to perform Borderline a few times. I just want Brandy to continue to stay visible. That's what Dimitri says. Rather Be needs to be the next single, by the way. Can't make Rivera. He's talking about Silent. Spill the tea on the new single. He knows what it is. No, Say Something needs to be the single. True Exclusive, Silence says, I ain't saying ish, nor is Kemp. So he knows too. Oh, I didn't say I know anything. What do I want to be the next single? Honestly, I don't know. I want there to be a few next singles, to be honest with you. I want there to be at least three more singles. Just saying. Just saying. Batty Smith says the Boy Is Mine wasn't part of the verses. Technically it was, because I did the count. Wait. Technically it was. So you may I technically they're supposed to do 20 songs, but there are 21 on each side. So I don't know what happened there. Maybe they just couldn't agree on whatever amount of songs, but it's 21 songs. Well, technically 22, and if you include Monica's Trenches debut. But if you include Brandy's interludes from the Tupac clip to the Moesha clip to the Impossible clip, she had like 25 songs. Oh, this is my iPad Pro. See, I took notes for you guys. I did work for this episode. Y'all don't appreciate my hard work. First of all, thank you guys so much for tuning in. This is the Kempire. That's me. If you're not following me on social media, everything is the Kempire. Head on over to my Instagram, to my Twitter. I've definitely gotten more involved on Twitter lately. I don't know. I really fell off with my Twitter, but now I'm back on it a lot. I appreciate you guys just being here. I really do. I just wanted to chat with you guys a little bit more in chat. You know, we'll chat for like the next 12 minutes. I'll make this a 2.5 hour show. I just want to say how thankful I am to you guys for being here. I put a lot of hard work into preparing this episode for you. I hope that you will watch it, share it. I hope that you will like all of our stuff on Facebook. Like us on Facebook, like us on Instagram, follow us at Kempire Radio. Also, follow us on Twitter and all that good stuff. Let's see what you guys say in chat room. She needs to sing Bipolar at the Grammys when she wins. Okay, we got to the Grammys already. True Exclusive says, I told her I had a vision of her singing Bipolar at the Grammys. That's crazy. Oh, that's interesting. Really? I hope you guys seeing a vision. I mean, God, that'd be an incredible performance, though. That's such an impersonal song. When is Brandy coming on this damn show? I got questions. Anyways, sorry. Sharing too much. Data says, I can't see Bipolar without a production set live. True Exclusive, Twitter is the better app. Come on, acceptance speed. I miss you guys too. Shout out to Data. Data, I will see you very soon. I am planning, once this quarantine is over, to get to New Zealand. I want to go to Australia. I just want to travel like crazy. That's exactly what we've been doing for the last 5 years. Just traveling. I had to take the time off from doing all of this. Of course, we did spurts of different episodes and different types of series. But I had to do that. I'm excited to be back. The pandemic sort of influenced it, but we had said at the top of the year that we were coming back just in time for Brandy's new album. I'm excited about what's to come. I really want to continue doing this. And as I said before, your support is so appreciated. I see you guys in the chat room. I love you guys too. Dimitri, Ta, y'all see in the future over here. So we need to let Brandy know we need to see a bot. Okay, can we just talk about, I think I said this in my review. I need to just call this song Bipolar. It's like a tongue twister for me. I can't say bipolar. It's a lot for me. I just need to call it Bipolar. That's what I'll do. Just saying. Data said we don't want any Americans over here. Come when you have a new president. I mean, technically, Data, that's probably what will happen, because I don't think we'll be able to travel to countries outside the US until 2021, to be honest with you. To be honest. Thank you to everyone in the chat room. This was fun. I enjoy you guys. The chat room I do miss the experience of the chat room. It's a little different when I'm recording these podcast episodes at home alone in my studio. I do like to interact with you guys. It does get a little distracting for me when I'm supposed to be reading notes and doing certain things, but I do appreciate you guys being here. We'll stay on. I'm going to chat with you guys a little bit in the chat room before I sign off. You guys appreciate my backgrounds, though? Yeah, appreciate the backgrounds. Appreciate the backgrounds. Come on. Let me change it up on you guys a little bit. Hold on. Let me change it up on you. Oh, yes. I can be wherever I want to be. Mm-mm. Verzuz. I love Zoom. Zoom is incredible. I love that. I know it's been around for a very long time. However, I think with the height of the pandemic, it's become so popular, but it's really helped. If you guys have been here since the beginning of Kempire Radio, I had to be so creative with allowing video in the studio and also trying to have a chat room on our website. It was a lot of stuff happening. I mean, still a lot of stuff happening, but Zoom has made this a lot easier. I do appreciate you guys. Shout out to everyone in the chat room. Data, Ta, Dimitri, Silent. I'm going to say this wrong again. Lucretia. Shout out to you. Shout out to everyone that's been here. Shout out to the stars. Shout out to the doves. Shout out to anyone that's a fan of the Kempire Radio Network. Again, more information on everything to make sure that you subscribe. Head on over to kempireradio.com. I actually checked out our stats for the very first time. We've only been back officially for the last 3 months. And I was actually I try not to check the numbers and things like that, because if you get caught up in numbers, it'll drive you nuts. But I was actually really excited to see how much you guys have been embracing and sharing and listening. So thank you so much. Data said in the chat room, anyway, I'm telling everyone, Rivera said, new single is bipolar. I think at some point, bipolar will be a single. I definitely think that it will be a single at some point. I'll say it without the I. Oh, wait. Say it without the L or the I? Is it Cretia? Cretia? Oh, Cretia. Oh, okay. Lucretia. You got a full-on singing moment, Lucretia. I feel good, guys. I have a lot of energy. I had coffee right before this, so I might be up for the rest of the night. I probably should go live on Instagram or something. No, I'm not. I don't. I'm not. Nah, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I need to do a live on Instagram. I've done it, but you know. Oh, is that Young Miami in the chat room? Oh, I'm sorry. Did you hear my shady comments to you? Bad song choice. Sideline, ho, ho. Yes, that was a bad. So to sum everything up, we love Brandy and we love Monica. If anything, this verse has taught us is that how much we love them, how much they have really risen to icon status, how much they have added to our lives in so many different ways. I love that this verse has reminded us that we love Monica's music. I know a lot of people like to pit these women against each other, but one thing I've always remained saying is that I love them both, and you can love them both. You don't have to choose a side, people. You can love both of these artists. So I think it's amazing what they were able to do this week. Definitely for the culture. They changed the game. I'm excited to see what Verzuz is going to do next. Oh, wait, before we go. Verzuz. Y'all better give that man his credit. Give him a producer title. Give him some cash. the original guy that came up with the idea for Verzuz and tweeted you guys about it, and y'all didn't give him credit. I'm just saying. That's just my thoughts on it. I'm not gonna go any deeper, but I think it's incredible what they're doing for the culture. They're allowing this platform to really bring attention to music that we still need to listen to. There are artists. I mean, you look at Brandy and Monica, you're like, they look incredible. They don't, sometimes you look at some of these older R&B artists, mainly the men, that don't look the same, except Usher. Usher still looks great, despite everything. But Brandy and Monica look both incredible. I mean, I'm gonna work on the style for both of them, but I'm shady. But it's in all fun. Even the little shade that they were throwing at each other, it was in all fun. Just saying. But yeah, I think it was incredible. I love it. I can't wait to see what happens next. I need both of these women. I need Monica to finally come on here on the show. Of course, I need Brandy to come back, but I definitely need Monica. I can't believe we've never interviewed Monica. She seems like a great talker, but now she's in the podcast world, so now she's competition. That's me looking at Monica. Playing. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Kempire Live here on the Kempire Radio Network. Subscribe to our YouTube. Subscribe to our podcast network. We have 2 series. Our wellness series that airs every Wednesday. It's called Know Better, Do Better, Live Better. I love our episode this week, so take a listen to that and listen to some of our past episodes. And of course, every Friday we have all kinds of great interviews. Music, we actually play legally music of up-and-coming artists and some established artists on our weekly The Kempire series. Again, when you subscribe to the Kempire Radio Network at kempireradio.com, we're available on Google and Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, Pandora, and iHeartRadio. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great weekend. It's Labor Day here in the States. If you're listening here in the States, stay safe, wear a mask, social distance, all that good stuff. I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.